I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Super Day Rocket's recording station, the ideal place for Daniel to talk about his thoughts and opinions on many types of media. Are you done? Yes, I'm done. Continue. Hey guys and gals, it's me, Super Day Rocket, and today we're going to be reviewing the Spongebob movie, Sponge on the Run. So without further ado, let's get into it.
3, 2, 1.
Ready for liftoff, Super Daniel Rocket. Get ready for it. So I have watched the original SpongeBob TV show back in the day, and it was technically one of the first ever cartoons I ever watched. The first true cartoon, I mean, because before that I kind of watched like educational television, I guess you can say.
Educational television? Woo!
But yeah, one of the first episodes, if I can recall correctly, that I watched from SpongeBob was, funny enough, the episode where Gary went missing, which is kind of the main premise of this movie. So I thought it'd be fun to check it out. So of course, let's cue the spoiler warning. So of course, the first thing I want to talk about is the animation in this film, because this is the first SpongeBob movie to ever use 3D animation fully, I guess you can say, because we did have hints of it in the previous SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, but that was just for like 30 minutes, even though it's kind of like the main topic, I guess the main advertising thing for the second movie. But here, yeah, you're gonna see some 3D animation. No 2D animation in sight, surprisingly. I thought they will do some kind of reference to that, but no, none at all. It's just 3D animation, but well, there is live action, but we'll get to that later. But I really like the animation style on this. I kind of feel like they were trying to make, SpongeBob, Patrick, and the rest of the gang look like sea creatures, thanks to the textures that they use on the characters. Of course, since, they're sea creatures, they live on the water, it does really look like that. It feels like they are living under the sea. And I also really like some of the expressiveness of these characters, like the squash and stretch element. They were trying to do that now in the recent episodes of the SpongeBob TV show. And I think they're doing a pretty good job at implementing that into SpongeBob. I think it really fits well. I'm surprised they haven't done this kind of animation style beforehand in, other SpongeBob media. So I really like it. Of course, as I mentioned before, there are live action segments in this film, kind of similar to what they do in, the first two SpongeBob movies, but it isn't kind of the main selling point. They're not actually going up to the surface this time. It's just like a weird dream sequence. It's kind of similar to what you see in, the SpongeBob TV show, where there's this fun little skit that they do with live action humans, like, some old guy thumbsing up, or remember that time where they become superheroes and their boss is just a realistic human. It's an old guy, I don't remember. It's kind of like a famous actor, I think, too. But speaking of famous actors, I do really like what they were trying to do with Keanu Reeves here. It's basically like the main guide for SpongeBob and Patrick, and I'm surprised how well they sing the tumbleweed to Keanu Reeves' movements. It's kind of impressive, to be honest. It kind of feels like Keanu Reeves is the tumbleweed. He is Sage. So yeah, props on that too. And funny enough, it's not just all for, random fun nonsense with, SpongeBob, since, that is part of what SpongeBob is, nautical nonsense. It's in the theme song, but I do feel like a lot of these nonsense moments do kind of lead up to something later on in the movie. Like, of course, you have SpongeBob and Patrick arguing a bit, and there's like a fun skit of like, your head's filled with rocks, and it does fill up with rocks, but stuff like that will then lead up to what happens later on in the movie, which is nice. I do really like that a lot of these nonsense moments actually have a purpose, but I do feel like the live action segments kind of feel like should have emphasized more, and that is kind of a teaser to what's going to happen at the end. Because, SpongeBob frees the souls of, those imprisoned zombie cowboy things, and that's kind of resembling, him freeing the snails at the end. I kind of feel like they could have done a better job with that, but still, I do really like the effort they put there. Hey Daniel, I heard on the internet that people vaguely saw some kind of weird spiky portal coming out of the forest. You want to go see it later? Lena, we can't go to the forest today. We're gonna go shopping for supplies later, remember? Oh, okay. I understand. Alright then. Weird spiky portal in the forest. That's complete nonsense. It's complete nonsense. Oh, the one thing I do found a bit unfortunate is the actual story of this film. It's very basic, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, sure, you can make a very simple story interesting, but I don't know, I kind of feel like it's a bit underwhelming compared to the previous two stories we have with SpongeBob. Here it's just, well, beforehand we had like SpongeBob, going on a big epic quest to get the, King Neptune's crown and, going up to the surface and meeting David Hasselhoff and all that stuff. And then the second movie, there's time travel and superheroes. But here, it's just, SpongeBob and Patrick going on a fun road trip to, this Atlantic city to save Gary from King Poseidon. Yeah, it's kind of very basic compared to the previous two. It's alright, but I don't know. It's a bit underwhelming for me and probably to a lot of other SpongeBob fans. And it also makes things confusing because now we have a King Poseidon. We already know there's a King Neptune in the TV show and a completely different King Neptune in the movie. My brain's starting to hurt already. It's like, yeah, SpongeBob continuity is literally not a thing unless you really think hard enough and make a fun theory online. So, yeah. Ha ha ha! It is I, the interrupting man. Oh God, it's my arch nemesis. The interrupting man? I could have sworn it was the interrupter. Haha, it is I, the interrupter. Who are you? Well, I'm the interrupting man, Super Dan Rocket's arch nemesis. Wait, what? I'm his arch nemesis. Ha, don't be ridiculous. No, you're both not the arch nemesis of Daniel. I am God of Interruptions. Okay, what in the world is going on? Yes, it is I. Okay, let's hope that doesn't happen to me next. Sorry about that. It was me, Challenging Charles, trying to use my interdimensional abilities to create Interrupter's famous burgers, but I ended up creating multiple versions of him instead. Hey, what can I say? My burgers are delicious. I hope this doesn't cause too much harm. Anyways, see you guys later. Bye-bye. Okay, that happened. I completely forgot what my scheme is to ruin your review, Daniel, so see you next time, I guess. Okay, that happened. Anyway, speaking of weird continuity in the SpongeBob franchise, this is the movie that introduced Camp Coral to the world, which is where SpongeBob technically met all his friends, Squidward and the gang. But of course, as a lot of SpongeBob fans know, he met them in the first 2 episodes of the show. He met Mr. Krabs and Squidward when he was hired to, be in the Krusty Krab and stuff. And the second episode, he met Sandy and all that. So yeah, this kind of messed up the timeline for a bunch of SpongeBob nerds. But the movie does at least work it into their advantage because they did manage to fit it into the context of the story well. Because of course, this movie's all about friendship and all those flashback scenes kind of work well with that. So even though it kind of messed up continuity, they did manage to work it well for the movie. So overall, I feel like this is a pretty alright SpongeBob movie. Definitely not the best one out there. I do feel like I understand why people think, the first SpongeBob movie is still superior and maybe technically, the second SpongeBob movie is the second best and this will probably just be the third best since, not much going on here in terms of it. It kind of feels like something you'll probably see in some kind of SpongeBob special rather than a SpongeBob movie, which is funny since, this is all about finding where Gary is, which technically became a special a while back, which is, again, was the first episode I ever watched if I recall. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but I do really like the animation. There's a lot of parts where it's pretty funny for me and the story was pretty decent despite it being, very okay, I guess. Okay-ish in a way. So that's pretty much it for me. So until then, guys, rocket on.
Rocket on. It's just weird. I feel like it's a big flash of light.
Daniel? Oh, hey, Lena, Did you got a weird headache that kind of gives you weird flashbacks to a big event that you don't recall being a part of? And yeah, it's kind of hurting you inside? Yes. Yeah, this seems pretty major. Yeah, I better contact the Dimensionary Force, huh? Yeah, you better go do that now. Yeah, I'm gonna go now.